welcome to another episode of the Chaos Chronicles.
Navigating the randomness.
I'm Jess.
I'm Connie.
And today we are hopping back in for the next 4 chapters of Breaking Dawn.
That's right. Before we get too deep into anything, just a reminder, you can find us at all of our social media. They are linked in the description and below. We would very much appreciate a like, follow, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell to be alerted when we come out with more episodes about Breaking Dawn or Who Knows What Wednesdays, which are not at all like our book review Saturdays.
No, not even close.
No, not at all. But we tend to sometimes enjoy those more than the book, which in that case, or in this case, actually, I don't know what we're recording for Who Knows What Wednesday. So maybe we might like this episode more. But I am not going to summarize everything that has happened in Breaking Dawn thus far.
They got married.
If you want to know more, check out last week's episode.
Yep. All right. Well, ready to just dive right in?
Let's go.
Chapter 4 is Gesture. The wedding flowed into the reception. Seth congratulated the two of them again, and Seth was with Billy and Sue. Sue was tense to those around her, but Billy was not. When Bella looked at Billy, it is as if she were looking at two people. The one was the old man in the wheelchair, and the other was the direct descendant of a powerful and magical line. Bella thought Billy was way too at ease, considering he probably thought that this was the worst possible thing to happen to his best friend's daughter. Yeah.
I'm just imagining if this were our kids and I'm watching your kid marry an Edward. No, I would not be nearly as calm as Billy.
Same. Nope. I would not be. Nope. You know me. No.
No, we'd both be like, yeah. How about instead of marriage, separate therapy?
Yeah. So she knew it wasn't easy for him to restrain his feelings, especially because of what this wedding foreshadowed. The treaty between the Cullens and the Quilliots prohibits them to create another vampire. The Wolves knew that this would come, but the Cullens didn't know how they would react since their most recent alliance with them. Seth leaned towards Edward with his arms extended, and Edward in return met Seth in a hug. Seth tells him, "It's so good to see things work out for you. I'm happy for you." Edward thanks him. It means a lot.
Aww.
Which is just so cute.
I love Seth.
Oh, me too. He then also thanks Sue and Billy for allowing Seth to come and then also coming to support Bella. Billy had some optimism in his tone when he responded, "You're welcome." A line was forming behind them, so Seth waved at them and pushed Billy to the food. Angela and Ben were next, followed by Jessica and Mike, who were surprisingly holding hands. Apparently back together.
God, I can't keep track of that.
No, but there was always that couple in high school that broke up and got back together every other week. And you never knew if they were on or off.
Yeah.
I can think of a couple, honestly, in high school. Like a couples in high school that did that.
I'm thinking of a couple, and the irony is the ones that were together since middle school did not end up staying together, broke up like right after graduation.
Can't say I'm surprised.
No. But to each their own. Yeah. I think they're happy now. A couple of them got married to other people that we went to high school with. So
nice.
A couple of them had kids. Really cute kids. I see the pictures on Facebook.
So behind them were Bella's new cousins-in-law, the Denali clan. Which cousins-in-law, technically yes, but is weird. I would rather say my husband's cousins.
Yeah, I don't know. Cousins-in-law feels
a little weird.
It does.
I don't know. Maybe it's because I've never heard anybody actually say it before, and that was my first exposure to that. I'm like, oh, it's weird.
I don't know. I also feel like I don't, at least with my in-laws, like there's never really a point where we're all throwing the in-law attachment on with anything. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
She's right, but it just feels weird. But maybe that's a
Yeah,
Midwestern thing.
it might be. Who knows? Let us know if it's normal for you. So Tanya embraces Edward and tells him that she missed him. Edward agrees and introduces her to his wife. Tanya smiles and welcomes Bella into the family, then apologizes for recent events when they didn't behave like family should. She then asks if Bella can forgive them. Of course she can. Tanya then looks to Kate and points out that all the Cullens are paired up. Maybe it'll be their turn now. Kate rolls their eyes and says, "Keep the dream alive," then welcomes Bella into the family. Bella then meets Carmen, and you're going to have to help me with this
I think
name.
it's Alaric.
Alaric, Eleazar? Elzar?
No, I think Alaric is somebody else.
Elazar?
He might be Elazar. Who
Elazar.
the heck is Alaric?
I don't know. I'm
That
like,
might
if
be
that's
one of,
Alaric, that's a weird spelling of that.
That might be one of the
Elzar.
characters that happens in the second half. Like I said, there's like 40 new characters that
No,
come
that's why I
in.
wrote the names down, because I'm like, I'm assuming they're going to be in this now.
Yes, it gets. Yeah, it's gonna be a little bit of a pain to keep track.
Yay! So Tanya glances at the line behind them and tells Bella that they will get to know each other later and moves her family aside. The night moved along with more traditions like cake cutting, feeding each other cake, throwing the bouquet. Angela caught it.
Aww.
And then Edward retrieving Bella's borrowed garter with his teeth.
No!
As Jasper and Emmett howled with laughter.
As they should. No, wait, hang on, hold up. Her dress. No. No. How does.
I don't know what her dress looks like at this point, so.
Honestly, I'm remembering the silhouette to be closer to your dress. Yeah, there's no. How are you gonna.
I was imagining with this a poofier dress.
No. But
Not
there is a
poofy.
difference between what she wears in the movie and the designs released by Stephanie Myers, which are also apparently different than how she describes it in the book. So.
Weird.
Are we expecting uniformity?
No. So once Edward has the garter, though, he winks at Bella and then shoots it right into Mike Newton's face.
I forgot about that. Okay, I love it.
I'm like, of all of the things that could happen, I do like that.
I vibe with that. Okay, I'm petty enough where roles reversed. I get where Edward's coming from. I follow that train of thought.
I get it.
I might get off at the same stop. I get it.
So they did their first dance, and Edward asks if Mrs. Cullen was enjoying the party. Bella laughs. That will take some getting used to. It does.
It does. I'm still not used to it.
Oh, I just realized the other day someone called me by my maiden name, and I'm like, oh, that sounds weird.
I changed your name. I think I changed your name at the restaurant.
You did?
I'm pretty sure, because I was like, we're getting rid of the curse on your last name. We are switching it over. Oh, yeah. No, I switched that one pretty quick.
Yeah, I remember at the restaurant you did that, because I was right next to you, and you're like, hey, switch it over.
Switch it. And if this makes it into anything, no, her family is not cursed. Okay, her family's kind of cursed. If something can go wrong medically, like her brother getting his wisdom teeth out should have been completely fine, was not completely fine. Stuff like that. So that was always the joke. Once Jess has a new last name, the bad juju won't find her anymore.
Yep.
And same with Ruby, which actually, since then, changing Ruby's last name, there we go.
Yep.
The power of a name.
Yeah, but someone called me by my maiden name at work because people knew me before I got married, and then I came back, and so some people that are new, they're like, oh yeah, that's your last name, but then other people still call me by my maiden name, which is totally fine, but I was like, who? Ooh, no.
A sign that you like your new name.
I do like my new name.
It works well. I'm not going to say it because internet and people are crazy, but no, it works well. It flows well.
So the music changed, and Charlie tapped on Edward's shoulder. It was his turn.
Oh, I love father-daughter dances.
Mm-hmm.
I love the one that I did with my dad, even though I
That was really
almost
cute.
ate it, and I bruised his forearm from gripping so hard.
You know, you saved it. That's all that matters.
Yep. Piece of advice that I don't know if it made it into the wedding episode that we did super early on. Practice the actual dance that you will be doing at the actual speed you will be doing the dance
Mm-hmm.
with your dad in your wedding dress with the shoes you're going to wear. Because I didn't know that my dress went under my shoes till I'm on the dance floor
Yeah.
in front of 150 people.
You did a great job.
Thank you. His arm actually, I think, was bruised because I was like,
Believe it.
It's fine. We survived.
So Bella notices how Charlie isn't nearly as easy to dance with as Edward. Charlie was just as bad a dancer as she was, so they just swayed side to side as Edward and Esme spun around them.
Okay, that's actually adorable.
Mm-hmm. Oh, this part, I actually started getting a little eye glossy around this. Charlie tells Bella, quote, "I'm gonna miss you at home, Bella. I'm already lonely."
Oh, we love Charlie. We love Charlie.
I spoke through a tight throat, trying to make a joke of it. I just feel horrible leaving you to cook for yourself. It's practically criminal negligence. You could arrest me.
Aw.
He grinned. I suppose I'll survive the food. Just call me whenever you can. I promise. End quote. It's just so cute.
I will say, I do like how Stephanie Myers writes Charlie and Bella's relationship.
I do really like I really enjoy their relationship.
It feels like the most. I'm not saying it's a perfect relationship.
No, because it's not.
No, but it feels like the most realistic, the most believable thing.
That might be why I'm really clinging to the Bella Charlie father-daughter relationship here, because I'm like, it's real.
It's real. And it might be the only healthy relationship in Bella's life.
Very plausible.
Actually, because even with Alice and everything else, see all of our other videos on the entirety of the series. Like, yeah, I think it really is her only healthy relationship.
So Bella feels like she's danced with just about everyone, well, except for Mike. Edward has been steering her away from him all night. When Bella asks Edward about it, he responds that he can hear his thoughts. Quote, "He's lucky I didn't kick him out, or worse." End quote.
Oh, really? About the bride?
It's Mike.
Good point.
It's Mike.
Good point.
He then asks if she's gotten a chance to see herself in the mirror and see how beautiful she is. She hadn't, and Edward brings her to a full-body mirror so she can get a good look. Suddenly, Edward stiffens and turns her in the other direction and tells Bella that it's a surprise wedding gift. He brings her back to the dance floor and then continues in the darkness behind one of the huge trees. Edward thanks the darkness and says it's very kind of him. A husky voice answers, "Kind is my middle name," and then asks if he can cut in. It was Jacob. Bella stumbled to him and he hugged her. Edward left them saying he promised an official dance with Rosalie. Bella is crying and thanks Jacob.
Not with the wedding makeup. No.
Quote, "Stop blubbering, Bella. You'll ruin your dress. It's just me."
Yeah. Oh, no. Alice should have had, no, wait. Jake's a werewolf. She might not have had the foresight to do waterproof. No, I feel like
I'm sure with how much Bella's been crying already,
she better have done waterproof eye makeup.
She had to have. She could, yeah. She would have been able to see how often Bella's been crying throughout because I haven't been saying how she's been a blubbery mess the whole night.
Hey, you know what? I get it. I've seen brides that were like that. You and I were not like that because we're just so like, we just want to be married. Yeah, but
I may have been like that if there was a lot of people around me, though. Like, if I had your wedding, I probably would not have handled it well.
I did pretty well.
You did.
Until we did the first look and my mom walked up to me crying. Nope. That part gets me. Like, she whispered a very sweet message in my ear. And I'm like, oh. I'm pretty sure I didn't even say thank you first. I'm pretty sure I said, no, I'm going to cry. Stop. Thankfully, my
She
makeup artist
knows.
was still there. But literally, that was my first thought. So I'm like, nope, because once I start, I'm not going to stop. And my mom is the first in this receiving line of hugs. And there's a lot. And I've got Jess and I've got Jody. And I saw Nina starting to cry. And we're a bunch of sympathetic criers.
Yep.
Oh, we had to shut that down real quick.
Yep.
But yeah, the point of that was waterproof eye makeup if you're getting married. Even if you think, I'll be fine. Waterproof eye makeup.
You won't regret wearing waterproof. You will regret or possibly regret it if you don't. So
yeah,
save yourself the trouble.
Yep. Yeah. And if you don't normally wear waterproof eye makeup, just remember to get like a micellar water or a waterproof makeup remover afterwards, because that is when you will regret it if you don't have that.
Yeah.
That stuff does not come off.
Continuing the quote here. Just, oh, Jake, everything's perfect now. He snorted. Yeah, the party can start. The best man finally made it. Now everyone I love is here.
Yes, but okay.
I let his lips brush my hair. Sorry I'm late, honey. I'm just so happy you came. That was the idea. End quote. Jacob is glad he came back and pulls Bella around in circles and dances. I know. That's why I included it. Yep. He thought he would be sad seeing her one more time, but it's not as sad as he thought. Bella asks when did he decide to come back. He isn't sure. He thinks he had been subconsciously headed in the direction for a while, but he only started running back this morning, and he wasn't sure he would actually make it in time for the wedding. It's weird, though. He's out of practice being human, walking on two legs and wearing clothes. He is glad that he made it, though. It was worth the trip, and Bella looks unbelievable. Bella asks how Jacob is, how he really is. He is fine. She needs to stop worrying about him and also stop bugging Seth. Bella tells him that she wasn't bugging him just for that. She likes Seth. Quote, he's a good kid, better company than some. I tell you, if I could get rid of the voices in my head, being a wolf would be about perfect. I laughed at the way it sounded. Yeah, I can't get mine to shut up either. In your case, that would mean you're insane. Of course, I already knew you were insane, he teased. We all do.
He doesn't even know the half of it.
Thanks. Going back to Jacob. Insanity is probably easier than sharing a pack mine. Crazy people's voices don't send babysitters to watch them. Huh? Sam's out there and some of the others, just in case, you know. In case of what? In case I can't keep it together, something like that, in case I decide to trash the party. He flashed a quick smile at what was probably an appealing thought to him. But I'm not here to ruin your wedding, Bella. I'm here to... He trailed off. To make it perfect? That's a tall order. Good thing you're so tall. He groaned at my bad joke and then sighed. I'm just here to be your friend, your best friend, one last time. End quote. The song ended, and Jacob asked if he thinks he can have another, or would that be too much? Bella tells him he can have as many as he wants. Jacob laughs and tells her he should probably just stick with 2. Jacob murmured, you would think he would be used to saying goodbye to her by now. Jacob wipes her tears from her cheek and tells her she isn't supposed to be the one crying, then asks, this is what she wants, right? Then smiles. He will try to remember her just like this, pretend she's like this. Bella with pink cheeks, a heartbeat, 2 left feet, all of it. Bella purposefully stomps on his foot, and Jacob smiles, that's my girl.
I'm sorry. This is way too much flirting to be happening between the bride and not the groom.
And best man.
All of this from the second she's running to him. And it's just
Jacob is holding something back, and Bella asks him to spit it out. But Bella eventually figures it out and tells him it won't happen tonight, maybe a week or two. Jacob asks what the holdup is. The holdup is she wants to be on her honeymoon. But Jacob doesn't see the point since she can't have a real honeymoon. Bella tells him she can have anything she wants, but out. Jacob gasps. Is that a joke? He grips her arms. He can't believe it. Has she lost her mind? She has to be joking. Bella tells him to stop. Edward and Seth were there suddenly and tells Jacob to let her go. He'll hurt her. Jacob lets go of Bella. Edward is holding Bella and Seth is holding back Jacob and tells him to go. Jacob, in a low, choked whisper, tells Edward he'll kill him himself. Edward tells Seth to get out of the way. Seth tells Jake to not do it, walk away. Sam is here now as a wolf and puts his head against Jacob's chest and shoves. There was another wolf. Bella couldn't tell who, and then they were gone into the forest. Edward tells her it's okay now. They have to get back. Sam has Jacob. They're gone. Bella has nothing to worry about, but they have to get back before someone notices that they've been gone for a while. Bella pleads with him to give her 2 seconds, and he assures her that she looks fine, not even a hair out of place. He puts his arm around her and leads her back into the light. Bella looked around to all of her guests. No one seemed to have noticed their absence. The only ones looking to have stress on their faces are Jasper and Emmett. Bella guesses that they were close by and were waiting to see what happened. Edward asks if she's okay. She is, but she can't believe that she just did that. She wants to put it all behind them, but Edward agrees that Jacob's right. He should kill him for even thinking he could. Bella tells him to stop it. The only thing that matters is the two of them. Bella tells him to forget Jacob even came and promise her that he'll let this go. He promises. Bella tells him that she isn't scared, but Edward is. Emmett cuts in, telling Edward he's monopolizing the bride. He wants to dance with his little sister. After all, this could be his last opportunity to make her blush.
Okay, that's absolutely adorable.
Oh, we love Emmett.
He's do.
So cute. I wish we actually got like an actual Bella Emmett dance moment. We didn't.
Well, of course not. I'm just envisioning it in my head like you would the big brother that's like throwing the sister around jokingly.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Bella dances with Emmett and eventually is back to Edward. After a while, Alice exclaims that it's time. Bella needs to change and they need to head out to make their plane. Bella thanks Alice for the most beautiful wedding. Renee and Esme were waiting upstairs, and the three of them quickly got her out of the dress and into a blue going-away outfit, and they took out all the pins in her hair. Which is really nice to do because, oh my gosh, taking out 1 million bobby pins from your hair at the end of the night? Whew.
I felt bad when I did your hair in that updo for your brother's wedding. I was like, oh, there's going to be a lot of pins to take out.
Took a long time.
Honestly, I should have just given you a magnet.
That would have been helpful.
I think it probably would have. Ugh, beauty is pain.
Mm-hmm. Bella says her goodbyes to her mom and then heads out the door and down the stairs. Edward is waiting for her, and Bella is looking for her dad. Edward leads her through the crowd to him. Charlie was against a wall behind everyone and looked like he was hiding. When they got to him, his eyes were red, and Bella hugged him and started crying again. Charlie pats her back and tells her she doesn't want to miss her plane. Quote, I love you forever, Dad, I told him. Don't forget that. You too, Bells. Always have, always will. I kissed his cheek at the same time that he kissed mine. Call me, he said. Soon, I promised, knowing this was all I could promise. Just a phone call. My father and mother could not be allowed to see me again. I would be too different and much, much too dangerous. End quote. Edward asks if she is ready, and she is. They have a rice storm waiting for them on their way out.
I'm glad we didn't do this.
I am so glad you didn't do that.
Mm-mm.
The car was decorated in flowers and had streamers coming off and a dozen shoes dangling from their bumper. Shoes. I've heard of cans.
I've heard of a lot, but shoes.
I've never heard shoes before.
I did see one with Converse, like old Converse.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever you want to do.
Yeah. That was a Pinterest board from way back when. It was probably during the mustache era.
I forgot about that. Oh, jeez.
Oh, that was a time.
So they climb in the car, and Bella called "I love you" from the window.
Oh.
One of the last things Bella registered was her parents. Phil had both arms around Renee, and Renee had one arm around him, but the other hand was holding Charlie's hand. It was a hopeful picture to Bella. Edward squeezed Bella's hand and tells her that he loves her. Bella put her head on his shoulder and says that's why they're here. He kissed her hair. Quote, as we turned onto the black highway and Edward really hit the accelerator, I heard a noise over the purr of the engine coming from the forest behind us. If I could hear it, then he certainly could. But he said nothing as the sound slowly faded in the distance. I said nothing either. The piercing, heartbroken howling grew fainter and then disappeared entirely. End quote. End of chapter 4.
I'm surprised you heard that over the of the shoes on the back, but
they're probably gone already.
Yeah. What a weird tradition. I'm sure there's reasons behind it.
I don't know. I'm sure everything has a reason behind it, right? Someone did something that...
Yeah, sometimes the reason is alcohol, drugs, and why not?
Honestly, though.
Actually, I feel like that's how we have a lot of what we have today. Mainly the third one, why not? But like the other two definitely helped.
Yeah. Chapter 5 is Isle Esme. Their first stop is Houston, and second is Rio. And I'm just saying Rio because the rest I won't be able to say. They then got off the planes in Rio, took a boat, and headed east.
Wait, Rio de Janeiro?
Yeah.
Yeah, that one.
That one.
That one.
I just looked at it and I'm like, no.
Rio de Janeiro. Brazil?
Yeah.
I think Brazil.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Bella couldn't figure out where they were going and decided that maybe they're going to Atlantis. After about 20 minutes, Edward points out a small island ahead of them. They have arrived at Isle Esme. This is actually a gift from Carlisle. Esme offered to let them borrow it. Edward placed their suitcases on the dock, then turned around and picked Bella up in his arms. He carried Bella up the docks and up the path. Edward opened the door and looked at Bella, waiting for her to meet his eyes, and then stepped through the threshold. It was hot inside. Edward figured that would probably make things easier. He was wondering if Bella would like to take a midnight swim with him, though. The water would be very warm. Bella agrees. Quote, I'm sure you'd like a human minute or two. It was a long journey. It's coming from Edward. Bella nodded, and Edward tells Mrs. Cullen to not take too long. He'll wait for her in the water. Bella went over to her suitcase and opened it. She didn't recognize even one piece of clothing. She was looking for a pair of sweats, but instead she found a lot of sheer lace and skimpy satin and lingerie with all French tags.
Interesting. Also, wait, when did the suitcase get there? I thought he left a suitcase at the dock.
He didn't. I purposefully left it out because he was awkwardly carrying Bella in one hand and had the suitcase in another.
Hey, I'm all about that one trip supremacy, man.
I don't know why I underestimate you every time. I'm like, Connie's not going to realize what I just said. Yes, of course. I should know better by now.
Sorry. Sometimes I go past it, but sometimes I'm like, hang on, something's
Back up.
not timeline. I blame my schooling having made it worse.
Oh, it's fine. So remember, all the packing was done by Alice.
I guess by the contents in the French tag.
Yeah. So Alice, she would pay for this someday. Bella gave up looking and went to the bathroom. She brushed through her hair, brushed her teeth, washed her face, and then decided to just take a shower. While in the shower, she had decided to shave her legs again as well. But now she had a dilemma. What was she supposed to put on?
Also, real quick, this is a bit more than a minute, honey.
Mm-hmm.
This is like 20 if she's fast.
Bella,
she better go slow. She nicks her leg while she's shaving.
Oof.
Night's out.
Game's over. So Bella started to panic. She had no idea how to do this. She was facing the unknown, and she was definitely not ready for the French lingerie yet. She wondered how people did this. Finally, she tells herself to not be a coward. She tightened the towel on her and marched outside. Edward wasn't too hard to find. He was in the water with his back facing her, and he was watching the moon. She slipped her towel off and left it in the trees with his clothes and walked into the water. Edward didn't turn, and she made her way out to where he was. Edward tells her that he promised they would try, but if he does something wrong or hurts her, she needs to tell him immediately. She agrees and tells him to not be afraid, they belong together. And Edward agrees, forever, and then pulls her gently deeper in the water.
Not be he sneezed wrong and you're dead. Like, do they sneeze?
Probably not.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, probably not.
Because what is a sneeze? It's a nerve reaction, isn't it?
I don't know. Don't ask me. I don't know.
Time for a Google later.
Bella woke up to the hot sun on her bare back. It was either late morning or early afternoon. Bella didn't open her eyes. She was too happy to change anything. The only sounds were the waves and their breathing and Bella's heartbeat. Bella rested her head on his chest while baking in the sun. She didn't know why she was so nervous about last night. It all seemed so silly now. She would be happy to lay here with him forever, but being human creeped back in as her stomach lets out a growl. Bella finally looked up at Edward. Something was wrong. Eventually, Edward asks how bad did he hurt her. Tell him the truth and don't downplay it. Bella made a quick assessment of her body. She was a little stiff, a little sore, and felt like a little jellyfish, but it wasn't unpleasant. Bella got a little angry. Why did he jump to that? Edward tells her to stop acting like he isn't a monster. Bella tells him to never say that. Edward tells her to look at herself. Bella then notices that there were white feathers all around her. Edward had bit a pillow or two.
Sorry, I think I definitely flipped through this.
Oh, I wanted to. But today we're not skipping because we don't skip here. Well, we skip some, but we don't skip
We skip a lot. We don't skip. We skip some.
We did skip some. Yeah. But cringe. We typically don't skip a lot of cringe.
Yeah.
I do have my limits. So Edward points to her arm. There are bruises all on her arm, and Bella tried to remember pain, but she couldn't. Edward apologizes and tells her that he knew better. He shouldn't have, and is more sorry than he ever could tell her. Bella was shocked. She couldn't think of what to say. She tries to get his attention, but he isn't saying anything. She tells him that she isn't sorry. She is so happy, so unbelievably happy, and is fine. So don't ruin this. She is happy. Edward whispers that he already ruined it. Bella snaps at him to cut it out, then groans. Why can't he just read her mind? It's so inconvenient to be mental mute. Edward's eyes widen. That's a new one. She loves that he can't read her mind. Well, she doesn't today because all of this would be so unnecessary if he could see how perfectly happy and blissed out she was, and now she's actually pissed. Edward tells her she should be. Nothing could make him feel better now. Bella snaps again that this is why she's angry. He's killing her buzz.
Pretty sure there's a hit song called Don't Kill My Vibe.
Yep. He rolled his eyes at her. Bella tells him that they knew it would be tricky and it was a lot easier than she thought it would be. They did amazing. Edward was livid. Did she expect this? Did she expect that he would hurt her? Did she think things would be worse? Bella waited for him to get it all out and waited for his breathing to normalize. She didn't know what to expect, but she didn't expect it to be so wonderful and perfect. Bella worries he didn't enjoy himself, but he did. It was the best night of his existence. Finally, Edward tells Bella he's done making Bella unhappy and he will do whatever he can to make her happy. When Bella questions this, her stomach growls and Edward quickly responds she's hungry. Bella then asks why Edward decided to ruin Esme's pillows. Edward muttered while getting dressed that he didn't really decide to do anything. They are just lucky that it was them and not Bella.
I am really working to engage my filter right now.
I know, I can see in your face.
It is. Whoo! Whoever's running my filter gets paid vacation after this because they are working overtime.
Bella got up and stretched. Edward gasped and turned away from her, and Bella asked if she was that hideous. Bella looked at herself in the full-length mirror. Her lips were a little swollen, there was a faint shadow across her cheekbone, and she had patches of blue and purple along the rest of her, but they weren't so bad. She bruises easily anyways. Bella moved onto her hair, saw the mess, and groaned. Edward panicked and was at her side, then realized what was going on. She was worried about her hair. He then starts helping her get feathers out of her hair. After a while, Bella sighed. This wouldn't work. She just has to go wash it out. Then asks if Edward wants to help her. Edward tells her that he will get food for her and then disappears. Bella sighed. Looks like the honeymoon was over. Bella showered and dressed, and Edward had food ready for her. It was delicious, and Bella was impressed. It was good for someone who didn't eat. Edward tells her the Food Network. Bella thanks him and leans across the table for a kiss. Edward kissed her back automatically, then stiffened and leaned away. Bella asked him if he's not going to really touch her again while they're there. He hesitated, then stroked her cheek with his hand. Quote, "You know that's not what I meant." He sighed and dropped his hand. "I know, and you're right." He paused, lifting his chin slightly, and then he spoke again with firm conviction. "I will not make love with you until you've been changed. I will never hurt you again." End quote, end of chapter 5.
Gold star to you for getting through that.
I know. I haven't really regretted starting that, like, we're going to end the chapter with a quote until that one. And I was like, I don't want to. So I just said it really fast.
Yeah, I definitely flipped through this chapter on initial reading as a kid.
Yep. Anything on chapter 5?
Nothing I can say on the internet. No, that was, well, all things considered, given the audience, that could have been worse.
Yeah.
Good job, Stephanie. You handled that as you handled it. If you can't say something nice, say something factual.
There's that.
Yeah.
Chapter 6.
let's just run it through.
Chapter 6, Distractions. And this is why we can fit 4 in here, because we're not taking the time to really comment on nothing. We're just moving right along. So Bella's entertainment became the number one priority. They went snorkeling, they explored the jungle, visited parrots that lived on the south end of the island, watched the sunset. Bella swam with porpoise, which are basically like dolphins, and they didn't like Edward at all. So they weren't around whenever Edward was in the water.
I mean, yeah.
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 Edward was trying to keep Bella busy so she wouldn't bug him. Whenever she tried to do anything inside, like pull out one of the million DVDs, he would lure her out of the house. They were out and about so much that she was famished and exhausted when the sun would set. One night, Bella actually fell asleep while eating at the table, and Edward had to carry her to bed. Bella didn't give up her fight, but she usually passed out before she could really press her case. Quote, "I'll make you a deal," I said sleepily. "I will not make any deals with you," he answered. "You haven't even heard of what I'm offering." "It doesn't matter," end quote. Eventually, curiosity won, and Edward asked what it was. Bella wants to be human for a little longer. She likes this part of being human and all the hormones, and she doesn't want to give it up yet. Bella yawns, and Edward tells her to sleep. But Bella's been having nightmares, more specifically, nightmares of the Volturi. Edward assures her that they won't have any reason to hurt her soon. But Bella wasn't worried for herself. She thought of the boy, the vampire child. Soon, Bella fell asleep again. Bella woke in the night from a dream. She was disoriented and began to sob. Edward assumed it was a nightmare, but it wasn't. It was something wonderful, and now it's not real. Bella grabs onto Edward and starts kissing him, but he pulls her away. What kind of dream do you think she was having, Connie? If it was a wonderful, pleasant dream, and now it's not real, and now I'm just going to start kissing you. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so she starts kissing him, and he pulls her away and tells her that he can't. But Bella continues to plead with him, and eventually he surrendered. Bella woke on Edward's chest. His arms were not around her, which was a bad sign. Bella asks how much trouble she's in. Edward tells her heaps. She apologizes and asks if she's forgiven. He's thinking about it. Bella looks around, and she doesn't appear to have any bruises. The pillows have also survived, but her robe and the bed frame did not. Edward isn't mad. He does feel guilty, but he didn't hurt her, and it was easier for him to control himself this time. Bella's stomach growled, and Bella started making herself some eggs. Edward points out that she normally doesn't go through this many eggs and never eats them sunny side up. Which is the first I knew once I saw that, which we'll talk about in a bit, but I knew at that I was like, no. Bella acknowledges it's weird, but maybe it's this place. She then asks about college and when they need to leave. She was serious. She hasn't had enough of being human yet. Edward can't believe it. This is all it took to get her to agree to stay human. Bella asks if they'll be able to find an apartment this late, but Edward has already bought a house. He then tells Bella of what their first semester could look like, and then the cleaning crew arrives. Bella tells Edward that she doesn't want to go out and about today. She wants to stay inside and watch a movie. Edward agrees and goes to let the cleaning crew in. One of the cleaning ladies looks at Bella horrified. After they left, Edward explains that she suspects what Edward is and is scared for Bella. They have their own stories of a blood-drinking demon who preys on beautiful women. Bella puts on a musical and curled up on the couch with Edward while they waited for the cleaning crew to finish. When they leave, Edward suggests Bella eat lunch, but she had something else in mind. Quote, "Well, there's an awful lot of headboard left, but I didn't finish." He already swept me up in his arms, and his lips silenced mine as he carried me with inhuman speed to the blue room. End quote. End of chapter 6.
We flip.
Uh-huh. Because he's not scared that he's going to hurt her, because it was a lot easier. Uh-huh. Anything on chapter 6 that we can say on here? No.
Nope. Nope. Nope.
Chapter 7, Unexpected. Bella woke from her dream in the middle of the night, and Edward was gone. He had left her a note. He is out hunting and will be back soon. It was dark outside still, but Bella knew she wouldn't be able to go back to sleep, so she got up and decided to make herself some food. She made some chicken and immediately started eating it. After a few bites, she realized that it tasted bad. She spit it out and threw the rest in the garbage and opened a window to get rid of the smell. Bella decided to lay on the couch and continue to watch the movie that they had on a few days ago. At some point, she falls asleep and she woke up to Edward being back. Bella woke to a pain in her stomach and she abruptly ran to the bathroom. Edward asks what's wrong and she tells him about the bad chicken. She has food poisoning. After throwing up, Edward asks how she feels. She feels fine now and is actually hungry. Edward made Bella wait an hour just in case, and he fried up some eggs for her. Bella ends up throwing up again, and Edward suggests going to see a doctor, but Bella waves him off, brushes her teeth, and goes to look for some Pepto-Bismol. Bella notices a blue box that Alice packed and asks Edward how long they've been there. Bella then realizes that her period is 5 days late, and she doesn't think that this is food poisoning after all. But that's impossible, right? Bella thought about Rosalie and Esme. If it were possible for them to have children, they would have found a way by now. But there was a difference between them. They were frozen at the state at which they passed from human to inhuman. Women's bodies have to change to bear children. Their bodies couldn't change, but Bella's could. And then thinking about men, well, they pretty much stay the same. And while Edward was probably the only vampire that had the possible restraint to do something like that, the phone rings. It's Alice. And Bella asks for Carlisle. He's on the phone, and Bella asks if vampires can go into shock. Because Edward's just not moving, just stunned, horrified.
Also, wait, I'm trying to figure out timeline here. How long had they been at the island?
Like 17 or 18 days now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought for whatever reason they'd only been there like a week or something because she had told Jacob she was only. So I was like, hang on.
It's because they kept. Bella was like, I don't want to leave, and Edward's like, oh, we don't have to leave yet, and so that kept happening.
Got it. That's making more sense. Okay.
Yeah, so they've been here for a while.
Yeah.
So Edward is just fine. He's just surprised. Bella then tells Carlisle that she thinks that she's pregnant. Eventually, Edward snaps out of his daze and takes the phone from Bella. After talking to Carlisle, he does think that she's pregnant, and Edward is calling the airport. They need to go home now. Edward ran around the place like an angry tornado, and Bella was confused. Wasn't he the one who had wished for a shotgun wedding after all? He must just be worried about the baby. Bella never really imagined herself as a mother. She had never really cared about giving up children for Edward because it's not something she wanted. But this was Edward's child, and she wanted him. Bella starts crying, and Edward panics. What's wrong? Edward assures her that they will take care of this, and she'll be fine. They're going to get that thing out of her before it can hurt her. He won't let it hurt her. Bella is shocked. That thing? No, he wants to hurt him. Suddenly, the woman was back, the cleaning lady. She insists on leaving the food that she brought. She made them dinner, but it's really an excuse to check in to ensure that Edward hadn't killed Bella yet. She mumbled something, turned to go, and Bella gagged on the smell of onions and fish. Bella grabbed her stomach and thought, "It's okay." The woman gasped and started yelling at Edward and then turned to plead.
I'm sorry. I'm just imagining the my clients that I had in my previous job,
Yeah.
like the most of them Mexican old ladies.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, when they were chiding, I'm sorry, I shouldn't laugh, but I'm picturing one person that I know
Mm-hmm.
in particular and just envisioning her chiding Edward. It brings me so much joy.
Oh, yes.
So much
Oh,
joy.
yes.
So much love for the little Mexican old ladies. Oh, they're some of my favorite clients.
Yeah.
They're so sweet.
They were speaking Portuguese
Yes.
too. But so the lady was mimicking a pregnant belly and then put her hand on top of Bella's, and Bella's was on her stomach. The lady sighed morte, Morte, which means dead.
I
I'm
don't
just
have a
going,
Portuguese background.
my brain just goes to like postmortem or
Yeah, I mean,
that.
probably pronounces morte because
Morte?
muerta is a death in Spanish, I believe.
Okay.
So,
So something probably similar to that. I apologize. The lady leaves, and Edward tells Bella to not worry. It's just legends and old lies. Edward tells Bella that they're leaving as soon as she's ready. They'll go to Carlisle, and this will all be over soon. Bella nodded, and Edward left the room. Bella grabs the phone that Edward left on the counter, flipped it open, and called the one person she had never called before. Quote, "Hello." The voice like golden wind chimes answered. "Rosalie," I whispered, "it's Bella. Please, you have to help me." End quote. End of chapter 7.
great quote to end on.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so Bella got knocked up by a vampire, has a vampire baby in her, and I'm assuming it's the little boy in her dreams, is I'm assuming like baby vampire is coming to her in her dreams and being like, "You're my mom."
There's the whole theory about Bella having prophetic. I think that's how you say
I
it.
think so.
Dreams.
You're good.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because you haven't read past chapter 7, have you?
No.
Okay, so I'm gonna husha, but there's a lot. There's definitely a lot. Also, I'm just imagining in Bella's position, like, okay, one, it's really creepy and indicative of how toxic their relationship is that she's not loving the baby because it's a
It's a
baby.
baby. It's
It's
because it's
Edward's
Edward's
baby.
baby.
Like that's so much emotional
Yeah.
immaturity where I'm like, Jesus. Like,
Yeah.
whoa, that's bad. But also imagining in her position, like,
She did also say the whole "this is Edward's baby," that was just a small part of it. She did go on and on about how now she can see herself being a mom, and now that she can see it, now that it's real, she doesn't want it to.
true.
I
It's
know, but
just,
still.
I can't, granted, having never been pregnant, not a mom, I'd have
Mm-hmm.
to talk to somebody who was, but I don't, the pregnant women that I have talked to, like, their baby, they're saying
Mm-hmm.
my baby.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not, I
It's
mean, like,
not
they
my
know,
spouse's baby.
yeah,
It's
I
it's
don't
either
know.
our baby or my baby. It's not
Yeah.
his baby.
Yeah. I mean, when the kid's like kicking him between the ribs and they're like, this is
Maybe,
your
yeah.
baby. But I don't know. It's coming off weird. It's coming off very weird. And I do feel for her because I'm imagining, you find out you're pregnant and like there's emotions going on, but then all of a sudden the man you love is like, oh, that thing, we're gonna get it out of you. I'd be like,
Mm-hmm.
run that by me one more time, chief.
And all the people to have in your corner, Rosalie's gonna be throwing fists.
I am so excited for you to read. Like, I want to say so much and I can't,
We're
but
getting there.
we're getting there. But yes, no, part of my love for Rose is, yeah, she is going to be as fierce as you think.
Yeah. Well, I'm just waiting because like that's what she wants. She wants kids. She wants that experience, and she can never have it. And now Bella has this magical baby that never should have happened, that should not be possible. and Edward wants to get rid of it, and Bella's like, the one person that's going to help me is Rose.
The one
She
person who
got
has
me.
no problem arguing against Edward.
Yeah.
And hasn't wanted me here from the beginning. My
Yeah.
sister-in-law.
Yep.
Oh no, the voice left. Yeah. Wow, I wish, because I don't, I'm going to be so honest from here out. You've probably picked this up in Eclipse through now.
That you don't remember a thing.
I don't really remember the books. I remember the big points, but I don't like remember the little details. I don't believe we get to hear any of like Rose's inner monologue, which I would have loved to have heard. Like, can you imagine what she was thinking when she got that phone call of like, please, I need you?
Oh, I can just imagine in my head right now.
Like,
there's a lot going through. Yeah.
Even if it was a girl, if I was in a situation where a girl told me like, please, I need you, even if I didn't love her, I'd still be like, all right, I'm activated. Like, what we doing? I wish we got more of that.
She probably has so many emotions. 1, shock. 2, jealousy, but then rage once she hears that Edward wants to get rid of it, and then protective instincts kick in.
I'm just imagining when she hears Edward say it, she'd be like,
excuse you? Those are fighting words, my boy.
That's like, ooh, that's where you see hand goes to throat real quick, because that's like all they do is the vampires is hand to throat and like push somebody up against the wall. I feel like that's everything. Well, except for Jasper in Eclipse. He took that dude's arms off.
Yeah, he did do that.
It was self-defense. See, our Eclipse movie reaction is a YouTube special.
Yes, and there are 2 versions out because one was basically just good in the US, and I wanted the rest of you guys to be able to see it. So
copyright, woo!
Yeah, gotta love it.
Yeah. Any other hiccups? Any other thoughts, concerns, quandaries?
No, now we get to apparently go into Jacob's perspective, which is why we also did 4 chapters.
I don't think I think I was just so engrossed in like, she's pregnant, what next? And then I probably just skimmed through Jacob.
Yeah, the preface for the next book is life sucks and then you die. Yeah, I should be so lucky.
Oh, now we get into the chapters.
Yeah.
Sorry, let me rephrase.
Book 2.
Yeah,
Jacob.
The weird chapter titles. We already had a conversation about this. I don't think it was on camera. Just because Jess maps out the chapter titles in her notes. I mean, it does seem kind of indicative of a emotionally turmoiled young adult.
It does, but also
it's not even an adult.
These chapter titles are not chapter titles, and we will get into that in the next future, however many episodes Jacob's chapters take up. Looks like chapter 8 through chapter 18.
Well, we'll see how that goes. But thank you for joining us today. We're getting into some interesting stuff here. If you need to purge your brain from all this, we have our Who Knows What Wednesday episodes. They have trigger warnings.
They do have trigger warnings, yep.
Yeah. Not all of them.
No. A lot of them.
Most of them.
And this one coming up on Wednesday will definitely have quite a few.
Oh, good. On that note, we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Adios. Oh, no.